Rian Manser has always had an adventurous side to him, of course. It's difficult to find him sitting still, isn't it? Well, to remind you, he cycled the perimeter of the African continent. Then he moved to kayaks for a trip around Madagascar, as one does. He would also do a similar adventure around Iceland. So when looking for love, he's lucky to have found a partner with a similar passion, and that is Basti. They've since had 2 boys, and now the time has arrived for the family to go on an adventure together. He's dragging them with, or they're dragging him off. Not sure which way this goes, actually. eNCA's Justin Ford joined the family as they unveil their new boat. I love the name, Shaka Zulu.
So Rian Manser is a man that has adventure at heart. Started out doing it in a solo. Then he decided, let me bring a partner on board, and now he wants to do it as a family. Rian, thank you very much for your time. Just take us back. You know, where did this passion, I call it passion because doing what you do has to be a passion. It can't just be a little job or anything. It has to be a passion. Where did it all begin?
Very good way to describe it, Justin, for sure. I am a passionate guy in everything that I do. I am so glad that I've been able to rope in my girlfriend, then my wife, and now my family into tasting a little bit of this world that I've experienced for over 20 years. But it doesn't come from anything specific. When I meet South Africans and people around the world, I tell them that there's something special in our blood as South Africans. It's a South African thing. We like the outdoors. We love adventure.
The Titanic sank on April 14th, 1912 in the North Atlantic Ocean. It was struck by an iceberg.
I like that a lot too. And your adventures has taken you around the world. We talk about your expedition around Africa on a bike, kayaking, both in Africa as well as abroad. I mean, just talk us through those moments.
Yeah, they were very, very special journeys, all for their own reason. I mean, around Africa was just I walk around remembering that I've seen so many countries in Africa 20 kilometers an hour. You know, I've experienced what our last 4 or 5 presidents haven't even seen in their lifetimes, and that's the privilege. And then to go and discover Madagascar, discover Iceland, imagine, and then rope your girlfriend into visiting New York City. Albeit in a rowing boat, we rowed there, and that took us like 6 months. A real relationship tester. Then rowing again for our honeymoon to Hawaii, of all places. And then going with Fanafikile Lepacha, a guy that couldn't even swim, and to have him row an ocean with me was phenomenal. But now it's the real deal. Now I've matured. I'm a mature guy now. You know, I'm wise. And the wisdom has told me, you better include your wife, you better include your 2 boys. Yeah. That's why we're here today.
I think the grey in the beard talks about that experience, doesn't it? Coming to today, the reason why we found ourselves here, first and foremost, this boat. I think there's multiple partners that have come on board to be able to put this together. Before we get to the building of the boat, we have to talk about the name, Shaka Zulu, proudly on your t-shirt, name of your boat. The decision behind that?
Yeah, it's proudly South African, proudly African, but proudly Zululander. You know, I grew up in Zululand. I think the attitude I've got towards life, and I dare to say the humility towards life is because of like the teachers, because of people that showed me the right route. But we come from a very, very special place in South Africa, and I want to show people when I land in harbours around the world, I want them to read that, and I want them to ask me, because then I tell them how proud I am to be South African and a Zululander.
I like that a lot. The makeup of your actual boat that you will be jetting, or at least sort of setting sail on, I believe there's multiple parts to it, different components, reusable components and so forth. Just take us through that.
Well, we had the genius of a boat builder, Francois van Dijk, who is used to building super yachts. And I convinced him, still don't know how I did it, but I convinced him to come and work on my little boat. And we've bought a very famous South African boat, a Mura. It's normally a racing boat in the yacht clubs of South Africa. It will be very famous for racing. And we decided to turn it into a cruiser, like a real cruiser, where the family could relax and have everything they could dream of. Hot showers, a flushing toilet, a fridge to keep the beers cold, fans, beds, everything you could imagine a 5-star hotel room to have is inside this boat. All made possible because of the partners who supported me.
I like that. Then the various parts that I did mention in the previous question, just take us through some of those renewable, like I said, those partners, the likes of Maisie and Plexiglass, them coming on board to assist you in that process. Was it an easy sell to them?
Yeah, I think what the guys like Maisie's that you mentioned, they are trying to show people that they're genuinely a company that's trying to go green. I mean, you talk about plastics and then we just think the worst, where those companies are genuinely investing in R&D and trying to change things. I mean, our windows just make the boat look very sexy, but if you find out how those windows and the glasses put together, it will amaze you how much greener they were than 10 years ago. And then other interiors that make it look top-notch and world-class and super yacht. That stuff is made so a green economy in mind. And then many other things. I mean, from our plotters, the Ray Marine guys are the guys that drive a huge environmental program. Yamaha is well known for the way that they're trying to improve the world. And then Vitas, the people that actually make everything inside your boat work, they the guys who are also making a chunk of their business green. Now, you wouldn't trust them. Go look at their business. They actually are.
I think that's a big part of what we need to ensure, and I think speaks to the work that you're trying to do, because there's no purpose in you just getting around the world. Yes, there's a purpose in that you get to enjoy it, but I think the bigger message about, we only have one earth. You've got two young boys that you want to see grow up and enjoy the fruits of your labor and potentially take over from where you left off. Talking about those two little boys, was it an easy sell? Do they realize what mommy and daddy's taking them on?
Justin, I tell this story and I try and answer it this way by telling you what happened the morning after the night we paid for the boat. We sat there in front of our computer with the EFT, wanting to press enter, walking around the kitchen table, about to press enter, walking around the kitchen table, about to press enter, and then we did. In the morning, I was dressing my son for school, and then he said to me, Dad, why we buy the boat? What are we going to do? And I said, James, we're going to go see the world. Anywhere in the world, we're going to go see it. His eyes lit up, and then he said to me, does that mean we can go eat Chinese noodles in China?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, that's exactly the essence of what we're trying to achieve over here. There is no greater gift that you can give your children in understanding the world better, but more importantly, humans better. How can I tell them to understand people's differences and cultures and religions and races if I don't have them living among people from other countries and loving people from other countries?
That experience absolutely is key. Your journey, I believe, takes you from Cape Town up the Wild Coast just to get familiar with those scenes. From there on out, what is it looking like?
Yeah, we've got the dream of showing my boys and my wife's favorite country to them, Madagascar. It is a stunning, stunning place, and it is almost our shakedown sail. In sailing terms, is finding out what could go wrong on your boat, and also learning as a crew, how do we live together. So up the Wild Coast, which is tough. We all know that it's like the craziest coastline in South Africa, and then across to Madagascar. We want to go to a bucket list place called Bassa de India. It is in the middle of the ocean, this big volcanic crater that just peeks out of the ocean amazingly with an entire wildlife of its own. The goal is Madagascar. The goal is to do just a few weeks at the end of this year in Madagascar, and selfishly pair that with the launch of my second children's book, my first wild island adventure.
I like that a lot, and here again talks about just that journey that these young boys get to experience. What is this big message that you're wanting to put out there over and above the boys, to people out there that will be following your journey and hoping to see sort of what your end goal, if we can put it that way, is? There's
one message. Justin, life is short. Even though it's the longest thing that we all will do in our lives, I mean, it's life is short. For people that have followed my journeys, there's nothing more echoing than when I meet people at events or at conferences or in the street or in shopping malls. They all come up to me and say to me, I respect how you made the decisions to actually get going. That's my message. My kids must be doers, not talkers. Mustn't stand around bars with beers in their hand and talking about the things they're going to do with their life. I want to see them doing. And that's where I'm going to be a tough dad with my kids. I'm not going to listen to hogwash day in, day out. I want to see them doing. That's my big message to them and to people who are watching.
I think I will fail in my job if I neglect to ask you about Kirsten's experience and the amazing achievement that she had just achieved, if you put it that way. We get to hopefully speak to her soon, but I mean, you obviously would have followed that. How proud of you, being proudly South African to see what she went and accomplished.
Well, first of all, I'll speak to camera. Kirsten, you are phenomenal. What I love most is that you sort of showed some cocky men that you can even be better than them, because a lot of cocky guys in those yacht clubs. So well done. You've made us very, very, very proud. The point behind her sail is that she started out with a enthusiasm that was unmatched. She started thinking, I can win this. It's not easy around the world alone without making landfall. What she did was phenomenal, but I think not that it has to be just focused on women's empowerment or women's rights, but I think the message she's done for young women and for young girls is more about the doing. You don't have to talk about equality, go and do it. Make equality.
I like that a lot. Rian, I have to thank you for your time, and I know time is a commodity in your world, so I thank you for that, and here's to a safe journey, and hopefully catching up with you sort of post all of this, and to again just document how it all went and how you got to live with your two young boys. I know you
and tell you the truth.
Exactly, and journeyed with your wife before, then girlfriend and wife, but I think in this small quarters, if we can put it that way, living with two young boys is going to be interesting. So good luck to you and Basti. Wishing you all the best. Well, there we have it. Rian Manser, a man that loves adventure, as I said, and he's going to journey along with his small family and hopes to document that and share his experience, and we'll catch up with him as soon as he is available again back in the land where he will hopefully just fly the flag for South Africa. Justin Ford, Cape Town.